This video is about my paludarium here. I set it up, I think around 2 years ago or so, and most of everything, I'll say, is from the creek next to my house. I added this rock that was in like my flower bed area because I put some isopods in there to I'll get to that later. And then I also have this hygrocaudal hirta here, I believe that's what it is, to try to get it to flower, and so I can, like, be sure of what it is. So this is all the other stuff except for that rock and that hydrocaudal there is from the creek next to my house. This is a broadleaf plantain. It looks like crap right now, but you may be thinking to yourself, pretty sparse in here. And you'd be right. I about 6 months in, there was some sort of fungus or mold or something that came on and killed all the terrestrial plants, except for the broadleaf plantain. That one survived, but everything else in here died. And I had some Starogine rapins and some like water carrots and a whole bunch of a whole lot of different marginal plants. And then on the underside, there's still some one of the broader leaf nongus species in here that I had a narrow leaf on. I believe it was like I can't remember. It started with a G. I'll put it up on screen. And then I had some sort of Patamageton, I think it is. It's generally called like water weeds and stuff like that. Look at this plant. Right in the middle of all that duckweed. Oh, it's coming from that plant. Never mind. I thought it was just like growing, like floating and growing straight up like that. But yeah, and I've been neglecting this because I've been feeling defeated by this. What I thought to be was like some sort of mold or fungus or something. And I don't know how it took me 2 years to do this. And that's what I put in to try to get the isopods and some other things to eat. But I have frogs in here. You can see one right there. Right in the middle of the screen. It's kind of hard to see. There's just kind of a stick in the way on it. Alright. Now you can really see him. Alright. Oh, he just jumped. And they're really skinny right now because my fly cultures crashed. And I'm waiting on some new ones, and it's kind of too late in the year to be able to... I can't find any bugs that are really small enough for them to eat outside. So I've been waiting on the fly cultures to come. There's just some duckweed on him there. I thought he was really messed up, but he's alright. So anyway, forgive me for them being so skinny. But I will remedy that soon. But the black junk stuff that I thought was some type of fungus or mold or something, well, it turns out that's frog shit. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier. I guess I didn't think 2 little frogs would poop that much. Because my thing fell. I mean, it gets about this bad in like a couple of weeks. Like, just all the dirt covered and everything. So I guess that's why I never looked into it. I really thought it was like some sort of fungus or mold or something, and I was just feeling kind of defeated about the whole ordeal. But now that I know it's just poop, I'll just, do some manual removal. But, I've done manual removal of it in the past whenever I was thinking it was some sort of fungus or something. But, it all came back just like a week later every time. So, I feel kind of silly now, but, it happens to the best of us. But, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and go down, in this video, go down to my creek and maybe get a few more plants. It's a little bit later in the summer, so there's not going to be as many as they would have if I did this earlier. But I'm not super happy with the way it looks right now. It's been neglected for quite a while. I still have been feeding the frogs, minus whenever all my stuff to feed them died. But, in doing the water, like the water is all good and everything's safe for the animals inside, it just looks bad. But now that I know this is poop and not sort of and not the thing, I'm feeling a whole lot more motivated, and I'll probably get all the algae gunk and stuff off the back sides as well. I cleaned the front here. There's a little bit of like hard water spots and stuff because this used to be an aquarium, but it's not too bad. And I'm also going to make some mesh lids for it because this front glass, it gets, there's a whole lot of humidity in there and it gets real humid. The frogs don't seem to mind the humidity, but I don't like it because I can't really see in very good. So I'm going to do some mesh. And the reason I haven't been doing the mesh is the flies are small enough to, walk through the mesh. And, I don't want them getting everywhere. But I know from whenever I was, as I was saying, I know from whenever I was really into ants, you can put some stuff. I think it's like baby powder and rubbing alcohol. I don't really remember. I'll have to look it up. And there's some like products you can buy to do this too, but a lot of the insects and stuff, they just fall off of it. So they couldn't, climb up and get out to the mesh is my theory, because the flies, they can't fly. They can only crawl and jump. And they're pretty good jumpers. But I think it'll be alright. But the negatives of it is it doesn't work very good with humidity, even like the ones you can buy. But with the mesh lid and everything, I'm hoping it'll work out. And there are meshes that are small enough that the little flies couldn't get through, but the light doesn't go through them very good, and they're also really expensive. They're like 10 times the cost of the slightly bigger mesh that the flies could get through. And the bigger mesh would also help with some of the humidity and stuff. So I think I'm gonna go with the bigger mesh. And if it doesn't work out, I can always go back to the glass tops, So yeah, I'm gonna get all the frog poop out of it right now. Well, unfortunately, the HOA got really into mowing recently, it seems, and they killed basically everything that isn't grass. But there were a few things that were in the water right on the edge where the monster mowers couldn't get. Here's some Potamogeton. I'm not sure on the species on that one. Some sort of non-just grass here, one of the finer leaf ones. And whatever that thing is. It was kind of coming out of the dirt and growing in the water, so that's how I had it here. And that's really all I found that wasn't grass. And there was a few hair grasses that lived, but they were like in the middle on some little islands, so I couldn't really get to them. Yeah, and that's it. Basically everything else was just grass, which is unfortunate. Those mowers really do a number on the plant species, which is unfortunate. Whenever I went last year, whenever they weren't really into mowing, they kind of go in waves. Sometimes they mow a lot, sometimes they don't hardly mow at all. But 2 years ago, whenever it was I started this thing, I think it was 2 years ago, you know, there were a bunch. I had like 17, 18 different species, and there were way more of them. There was a good amount of this guppy grass stuff and this Potamogeton, but everything else there wasn't a ton of. And if you notice, I didn't really take a ton of anything. Yeah, those mowers really mess us up, but I got it all cleaned up. You can see all that gunk is gone. It's just regular old dirt now. Oh, and if you have any suggestions on easier ways to get the frog poop to not look so bad, because it doesn't seem to bother them in any way, let me know, other than, you know, just taking it out, because they do poop a lot.